Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about how we survived our last round of illness that lasted over 6 weeks, which was absolutely crazy, and what you can do to get ready in case you are next.
With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend this time in your head.
So I wanted to do this video. I've actually been meaning to do this video for a little while, but life has been absolutely crazy. So I wanted to let you guys know some of the things that we did while we were sick that really helped us, and also put it into perspective for some things that you might want to consider doing to prepare for yourself in case you were to get sick in the near future. Now, I say this and I do not want you to be afraid. All of the information that I present to you is not to make you afraid, but actually to empower you. Because it's really cool when you're in a situation like that where, for example, here, we were sick and our hospitals had so many illnesses that I actually called and they said, no, we don't have anything for you. Please don't come in unless you need to be admitted. So what was amazing was I had enough stores and I had enough things for us to be able to do at home to try to fight it by ourselves. And it's really empowering. It makes you feel more confident that you are able to handle something should it come your way. And honestly, it's a lot like the way that we eat. We who are low carb, keto, and carnivore, we don't get to just, oh, I'm not going to bother going to the store and buying only carnivore foods and making sure that my fridge is jam-packed full of what I'm going to need for the next week. I'm going to go every single day and just see what happens to be there. That's not the way that we do this. When we're low carb, keto, or carnivore, we go to an event. We know what we're going to eat ahead of time. We know what is on the menu. We've even called ahead to see, what do you have? What oils are you using? So that we are prepared for that situation. It's the same thing in this case. You want to be prepared for whatever could come up so that you can handle it with grace and calmness. Honestly, that's a huge part of it. So tip number one that I'm going to give you is get your diet figured out now. Whether it's for you or your family, anything that you can do to move yourself or yourselves in the right direction of getting a little bit healthier, I encourage you to do that now. And sometimes it's frustrating. I would know better than most of you tried something and it doesn't work, but keep trying. Whatever you think may be the best option, go ahead and put your efforts towards that. Get yourself as healthy as possible, because this year has already been ridiculously rough. The end of last year was really, really bad with sickness. Generally, December and January aren't too bad when it comes to cold and flu season. It's usually reserved for the end of January into February and maybe even March. Well, this year we got so hard hit at the end of November and December that it kind of overwhelmed a lot of the system. So you need to be aware that January and February are generally worse, and there's a reason for that. When we're coming out of the fall, yes, we've had less daylight, but when we first get into winter, then we're getting less vitamin D, but our immune system is still pretty good. So for so many people to have been so negatively affected at those times, it does not bode well for January, February, and even March. That's when we usually see the most cases. I thought, oh good, we're getting it out of the way now, it's going to be easier. Every virologist that I have seen recently has said, no, it's going to be worse. You need to get ready for it. If that's the case, that is horrible, because 6 weeks was more than enough for me. So I recommend that you get all of your basics covered. As healthy as you can get yourself, get the inflammation down, avoid the sugars as much as possible, get your kids on a slightly healthier option if that is something that you can do. The next thing I wanted to talk about is what is Western medicine? It's called allopathy. Western medicine, allopathic healthcare, is a method where we suppress symptoms to get results. We need to think about that logically. Our bodies give us symptoms for a reason. It's telling us that there is a problem, and a lot of those symptoms actually help to support the fighting of whatever the problem is. So a fever, for example, is going to actually be able to kill the virus or the bacteria that has invaded your system. Those guys can't handle the higher temps as well as we can. So our body ramps up the temperature. What happens when we take temperature reducing medications? We're literally shutting down our body's ability to fight for itself. And this is why so many people have had so many problems recently. As soon as a fever spikes, we're immediately taking Tylenol to bring it down, but that's our body's best defense mechanism. So instead of suppressing all of our symptoms, it's actually a better idea to support your body's symptoms. For example, in our house, this last round of illness, even with fevers upwards of 103.8, we did not ever take Tylenol, not a single time. We supported our body in that fever. We drank chamomile tea. We made sure that we were drinking as much as we possibly could, trying to get ourselves to sweat. Because when you have a fever, sweating out helps you to detox, get rid of a lot of the pathogens, virus, bacteria, whatever it is that is affecting you. This is not medical advice. Please do not avoid taking medications or going to your doctor because I said so. I'm letting you know what we did and what I have learned. I actually went to Patriot Nurses Medical 101, 201, 301, and Medicinal Herbs and Nutrition class, and it was eye-opening. It was fascinating. So if you want to learn more about that, she does have spots available, I believe, for next year, and I will link that down below in case that's something you want to check out. But it was really revealing, especially for people who are low carb like we are. We want to be so careful about what we put into our bodies. So being aware on the medicine side of things is also really, really important. Being prepared for any situation is going to be huge. So I would encourage everyone for my next point to have things on hand. Even though I don't like using Tylenol ever because it is horrible for your liver, among other things, I have it on hand. I do have Tylenol in this house because if the fever does get bad enough, there's a point in time where the fever is too high, you're going to start damaging brain cells versus bringing the fever down. So there is a time and a place for absolutely everything. We have Motrin in our house. We have synthetic nasty cough syrups in our house. We have Sudafed. We have Vicks Vapor Rub. We used a lot of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's a petroleum-based product. It's terrible, but we did end up using it because a lot of the other alternative methods that we were trying just weren't cutting it, or I didn't have on hand what I needed, so I wasn't able to fight it properly. It's definitely one of the things that I learned with this last round of illness. What do I need to get my hands on and get it stocked up in my house? Because when I went to the store to go get some, there wasn't any to choose from. Several stores actually had no Motrin and no Tylenol of any kind, adult or children's nor infants. So if you're a mom of a young baby and you're going to the store because your baby has a temperature of 102 and there's nothing there, it's a little disheartening. So being prepared ahead of time and having things on hand can be a game changer or a lifesaver. I have always said it is better to have it and not need it than not have it and truly need it. So for my next point, I really recommend that everyone begin looking into alternative methods of disease management, dealing with your illnesses. Instead of practicing medicine, let's actually practice healthcare. What are some other things that you could do for yourself or for your family in the instance of an illness to prevent taking all of those synthetic medications that have horrific side effects. So looking into things like homeopathy or oils, essential oils, diffusing those, herbal remedies, things like that can actually make a huge difference. And if you have those things on hand, you can try those first. And if they do in fact fail you, then you can resort to your stored up, yeah, I've got some Tylenol. We really don't have much of another choice right now, so we're gonna go ahead and take some. But what you don't wanna do is educate yourself when you become sick. Learning about this beforehand really makes all the difference in the world. Because if you are sick, you're not going to want to sit down and read up and try to understand and then go online and order on Amazon. Have you guys noticed, at least for me, it's not 2-day delivery anymore. We're up to 8-day delivery now. So it's definitely not something that I can just order and have on hand really quickly. And my local stores don't have a lot of the stuff either. So educating yourself when you're well, when you don't need it, is really the ideal situation for just about everything. If you think that you may be getting sick, you have a little bit of a scratchy throat, maybe a little bit of a stuffy nose, kind of a little something in your chest, I encourage you to take action immediately. Any form of support for your immune system, whether that is elderberry or vitamin C, vitamin D, grounding actually can help quite a bit. Colloidal silver, homeopathy, iodine. Those are all wonderful ways to support your immune system when you have the tiniest little inkling that there could be something on the way. After our ridiculous first round of illness that went through everybody and lasted forever, it wasn't even one round. It was either 2 or 3 rounds of different viruses that came through with different symptoms that kept like changing. Once we got rid of that, we were pretty much better. And then both Bella and I woke up one morning not feeling well. I had one nostril that was clogged and she was, my throat kind of hurts, mommy. So we immediately took a homeopathic remedy. We took it several times that day, and the next morning we woke up and we were much better. I'm hoping that it triggered our immune system into jumping into action immediately to destroy the invaders rather than waiting for them to get a good hold and our symptoms to become bad enough for it to warrant our immune system to truly kick on. Now, there's always a chance that you may have to take antibiotics. I actually ended up having to go on antibiotics for a double ear infection in this last bout of illness that we had. And I found it interesting that when I went to fulfill it, one of the pharmacies said, yeah, we're actually all out of Augmentin, so you're gonna have to go somewhere else. That was a new one on me. So having antibiotics on hand, which you actually can do, there are several companies that do have that available. We got our kit through Jase Medical. I didn't end up having to use it. I was able to get some from the store, but just knowing that in an instance where I truly do need it, I do have a backup on hand, and I'm not using it irresponsibly. I'm saving it for a true emergency. Another point that I want to make is that at some point in time, doctors' offices could become overrun again. The last 2, leading into the 3rd year, have been very unusual. In the past 2 years, it has been very difficult for some people to get into the doctor's office. There has been a lot of disruption in medical personnel and their ability to perform their jobs or go to their jobs or even get the equipment that they need to be able to perform their job. So you can't always count on being able to go to your doctor. Buffalo, New York, hi, under 18 feet of snow. It's to the point where if you're gonna get 4 feet of snow, you can't make it to the doctor, and you may have to hunker down in your home and try to support your family as best as you can for 24, 48 hours until they can come and dig out the streets enough for you to even be able to get to a hospital. So there may come a point in time where even the hospitals are too full and the beds, there aren't any left and you aren't able to get in. Finding alternative methods and ways to take care of yourself in an emergency situation, that would be a really good idea. And there is always going to be the potential for lockdowns again. As this year progresses, the illnesses are going to get worse. Actually, some of our schools, our local schools, ended up closing for 2 days because out of 200 and some odd students, only 48 of them were well enough to go to class. And even some of those were questionable. So they began closing down the schools here in the local area. Again, January, February, and into March can be even worse. So what could the future hold in just a few months from now? It would be wise for you to be prepared for any of those eventualities. Educating yourself before you need it can be a very powerful tool. So I recommend checking out Patriot Nurse. She has a lot of medical advice on her channel. Actually, back in her playlist, I think that talks about having a sick room. When you have illness in your house, how to have the room set up so that it is really nice for the provider to be able to take care of someone, kind of keep the illness in one place. So there's so much stuff on her channel. I recommend that you go and check her out. But I wanted to show you guys what we have on hand and what helped us get through our illness. And I would love to say, I hope I never have to use it again, but pretty sure illness is gonna stay around because even if it's not me, it's probably gonna be one of my kids. A couple of things that I recommend having: a stethoscope and learning how to use this and learning what normal breath and heart sounds sound like for you and for each of your family members before there is a problem. Gives you a baseline so that you know what you're looking for if there is in fact a problem. It can help you determine, is it really worth it to go to the doctor to request chest x-rays? Because yeah, I can hear that there is something going on that's not okay. This I recommend having. Anything that I can find, I will put a link down below for you to be able to look at purchasing for yourself. Another thing I recommend is a blood pressure cuff. Having this, again, establishing your baseline. What is your normal when you are healthy? How to take this. This is not one of the electric ones. This is a manual one you use with a stethoscope. Go check out online. You can find all kinds of videos on YouTube to teach you how to take someone's blood pressure the old-fashioned way. Finding your baseline so that when you are sick, you know that something is wrong and how to interpret it. Another thing I recommend that you have, ACE bandages. These can work for sprains, for injuries. Actually, we ended up using a castor oil pack, and you can use an ACE bandage to put a poultice on your chest if you have a really bad cough, to hold the medicinal herbs right there on your chest without getting your clothes all nasty. ACE bandages can be a wonderful tool when you are dealing with any kind of illness or injury. We also have on hand colloidal silver. Now we went with this brand, it's Utopia, and we got this a little while ago, and it's getting down there a little bit. But colloidal silver is the original antibiotics. Before there were antibiotics, a lot of people relied on this. Research it, look into it, see if it's something that you think your family could benefit from. Make sure that everything that I'm recommending to you, you use properly and safely so that no one gets hurt because you used it incorrectly. Another thing that we use very frequently in this house would be homeopathic remedies. Now, it's not for everybody. I've had a lot of people that have said, oh, that is an old wives' tale, or that is a lot of things, and don't do it. There is a lot to learn about homeopathy, how it works, and I'm going to be real. The less inflamed you are, the better these are going to work, which I think is one of the reasons that they work really well on us low carbers. Because our inflammation is down, we can truly see what our symptoms are. And that's how homeopathy works, is you actually go based on the symptoms, not on the diagnosis. And that's how you fight that. The remedy that Bella and I took made a huge difference for us just recently when we began battling again, and it lasted less than 24 hours. Thank goodness. And finally, the biggest tool that I used on this last round was Blueberry Pediatrics. We have healthcare for the entire family, but on top of that, we also have Blueberry Pediatrics. The reason that we do is Blueberry Pediatrics makes it to where we don't have to leave the house to have the kids be seen when they are actually sick. Broken arms, unfortunately, they haven't figured out telehealth for broken arms yet, but we ended up getting albuterol for Bella because she was having a lot of problems with her breathing, with her coughing. We ended up getting her albuterol, and then Verinia ended up needing antibiotics as well. We got those medications via an appointment online with the doctor because they send you some of the coolest tools. When you go sign up for Blueberry Pediatrics, I pay $19 a month. $18.99 a month is what I ended up paying for Blueberry Pediatrics every single month. And just by signing up, I got a free kit. What comes in this kit, and you can get a free kit too. If you look down below, there is a link for Blueberry Pediatrics. If you click on it, you don't even have to buy anything. You can just go check them out and see what they offer. But honestly, I think it's absolutely worth it because what came in the kit was a pulse oximeter, a smart otoscope, and a thermometer. Now, I think that they've upgraded and it's either the ear or the forehead thermometer now, but this is the one that came with my kit. All of these things come for free. Every month you pay the fee, and then every visit is free. You don't pay anything extra on top of what you pay for the monthly fee. So I ended up getting a double ear infection. I had to go to the doctor and I had to get a prescription for my medication for my antibiotics. Then I had to go fill that. My doctor's visit cost $380. That did not include the medication. Now, because we have the medical insurance, the coverage, the medication was cheaper at the one store that I went to that actually had the medication. But for Verinia to get her antibiotics that she needed, it was just the cost of the antibiotics. There was no office visit. I did not have to pack her up, take her out into an area where people were sick and chance her getting exposed to something else. We used the smart otoscope. It connects to your phone's Wi-Fi and it takes a video. You then upload that to Blueberry Pediatrics. Their doctors review it. They hop on a video call with you and they go, okay, let me see the kid. Yeah, the kid is sick. I agree with you. Let's get them on some medications that are going to help. Then they send it to the pharmacy of your choice. I will never get rid of Blueberry Pediatrics. It covers all of my children for one fee. Everybody is taken care of, and it's so much easier and more convenient than having to lug the kids in and then pay the copay for whatever it is to go be seen. If your doctor can even get you in. No problems, middle of the night, they are there and they will respond to you very, very quickly. So anybody who has kids or grandkids, this would honestly be a great gift to give to someone else in your family. Grandma or grandpa can pay for the entire family to have Blueberry Pediatrics in their back pocket at any point in time. Even if you're traveling, you could be on a trip and you're not close to your normal pediatrician, you can contact Blueberry Pediatrics and they will get you the medications that you need for your child. So that is what I have for you guys for today. Things to think about, preparations for what could be coming next. Even if you aren't one that gets sick very often, you could sprain something, pull a muscle, have some kind of other issue, and maybe not want to go into the doctor to have to deal with it or not be able to. I hope that this helps to kind of bring awareness to a situation and encourages you to begin maybe looking at some alternative methods for healthcare than trying to suppress our symptoms, but maybe just supporting our bodies to work in the way that they were designed to. I hope that you guys will like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone that you know that could use this information or has children that may benefit from Blueberry Pediatrics. So my link is going to be down below. If you click on that, for every 10 visitors, they credit me $5 off of my next month's bill. And they do that for everybody. It's not a special affiliation that I have because I'm a YouTuber. They literally give that to absolutely everybody who signs up for Blueberry Pediatrics. Just for simply spreading the word, they will give you a credit so that it takes more off of your next month's bill. So go check it out. Share that link, share this video with anyone that you think needs to hear this. And I hope you guys have a fantastic new year, and I will see you on the way.
You are the next victim?
You are the next. You are the next. Not the next. Okay. Okay. There's a knock at the door.
Someone just knocked.
Yes.
Me, your daughter.
Come in, daughter.
So helpful.
So helpful.
You might come in.
Yes, darling. We traded dogs for a daughter. Fantastic. Okay, super quiet, my darling. No whispering, no nothing. Just watch. I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah. You should turn on your light and let her watch your sparkle light.
Oh.
You should do that too. We should show the people in the bloopers of what we are speaking of in a moment. It's fine. Here's the sparkle thing that we turned on. Here.
Go, Bella.
Can I? I'll put it up here so they can see it. It's a color change sparkle thing. It keeps the tiny human happy. Thank you, darling.
Oh, I see the switch now.
Don't get distracted. I'll shut up now.
Promise? Not fear, but power. Oh my gosh. But anything that I can find, I will put. Woo! That's a dog. Videos can show you how to do that, and we also have. Woo!
Stop dropping things.
I know. Bye, guys. We made it. 33 minutes.
And company.
Blueberry Pediatrics and Co.